This video is the second in a mini-series of two connected videos. In a previous video we created a topic model, and this is the topic model we are using here. We see that it is associated with finding names and acronyms in the EU sphere. This one is the most general one, is called EU synonyms. And actually that is the parent of all the other parts of the topic model. This European Union is one child. This EU, very short one, just the acronym, is another child. This European Community is a third child. And EC was actually the addition we made in the previous video. We wanted to incorporate the acronym EC relating to European Community. This analysis is now going to be cross-tabbed with another topic, and we want to find out how much export-related matters are discussed in the same sentences as EU-related matters. And we see over here that we have selected that the crosstab must be within the sentence. We could also go a little bit wider and check for occurrences inside a paragraph or the whole text, but we're going to go for sentences. And I can submit my analysis, but actually I already did run the analysis and I have my spreadsheet over here containing the results. So let's open this spreadsheet. The results here, we have found that there are 200,000, well, a little bit more, 232,000 sentences. And in 3,054 of these, some or other reference to EU is present. We can see that the biggest chunk is the short abbreviation, 1,970 occurrences. Number 2 is European Union. Number 3 and 4 on a split third place is the mention of European Community or the EC. So we can see that the addition we made to our topic model, including EC, did not make a lot of a difference. We only get another 2 occurrences. However, now we are sure that we have been thorough, so we know that we don't have any information missing out of our criterion. We cross-tabbed against the topic of export, and we see that there are 1,041 occurrences of sentences containing some or other reference to export. That is 0.45% of all the sentences. And we remember that the EU synonym in one or other form were present in 1.31% of all the sentences. So export is more infrequent. There's approximately a 1-to-3 ratio between these two matters here. So we should expect that since we have something that is a little bit more frequent than 1% and something that is about 0.5%, that we would get approximately 1% times 1% occurrences down here. And we can see we actually only get 83 occurrences where export is mentioned at the same time as EU, and 29 where export is mentioned at the same time as European, some other reference to European Union, and 64 occurrences where EU is mentioned at the same time as export is mentioned in a sentence, and 0 occurrences in number 4 and 5 here. And we're not so surprised by that because we only had 2 occurrences to begin with, so not very much to work from. What we don't know just yet is how much is this is this more than we would have expected. So let's add a little bit of extra information here. So I'll show some calculations I made. Now if I take the average occurrence of EU being present in 1.31% of all the sentences, and multiply that with the presence of the term or the topic export, I arrive at a number 14. That means that we would actually have expected that the cross of EU synonyms in general against export would give us only 14 occurrences. We also would only expect that there would be 5 occurrences crossing European Union and export, and only 9 occurrences crossing EU against export. That is, if all the discussions were evenly distributed over all the sentences in the material. That, however, is not at all the case. And this graph shows how the picture deviates, a big deviation from that. We have calculated the indices here, and an average or even distribution would be the index corresponding to the number 100. So we would have all the results be at the 100 line here. That would be an even distribution. But that is, of course, not what we're having. We have a 6 times higher prevalence of export when any EU synonym is used. We have a 5.5 times higher prevalence when reference is present to the European Union, and we have a more than 7 times higher prevalence when the abbreviation EU is mentioned. So we can see that if before doing the analysis, if we had expected, if we had a hypothesis that the discussion of export would be highly associated with discussing EU in the House of Commons, where the data are from, we would have been right, and these data would point to us being proven right if we had formed such an opinion beforehand. So this was a very simple example of how you can use a topic model to explore a hypothesis. And we also saw in the first video that we can add some extra material to our topic model so we make sure that we do not forget anything. In this case, it was adding this acronym here, and we saw that it was good that we did it, but actually the results proved that there was not a lot going on in that area. So that's it for now, and thanks for watching. See you back soon.